when I'm trying now, you'll see that basically every 100 years we are changing the rulers here. It maybe sometimes he lived by himself, and otherwise he was killed or something. So, you know, a lot of things change here. Zadar as a town was founded 2,000 years ago with Julius Caesar, but as a settlement is even older, something like 3,000 years ago. But the town is beginning with Julius Caesar. Why? Because he's making a military camp here for the Roman soldiers, because Rome is not far away from here, and then when the Roman army were coming to the east coast of our sea here, they were founding this military base for the Roman military camp. And this military camp, first one was founded 40 BC, started to grow slowly and actually started to look more than a town than a military camp. So, as every normal Roman town has an aqueduct, it has a Roman forum, it even has an amphitheater a little bit outside of the city walls. It has this Roman system of streets, and it basically became, let's say, after 100 years, the second largest town in Dalmatia. The biggest one was Salona. This is one little town near Split, and this was the 5th largest town in the whole Roman Empire. Zadar was the 2nd largest town in the Dalmatia. After the Romans, they were big here until the end of the 5th century, actually, when the Western Roman Empire will collapse in 476. And then, same thing will happen as in Italy. The Ostrogoths and Goths are coming from the north, occupying these lands. But they didn't destroy Zadar how they destroyed Rome. They're basically taking the Roman system of living. They're taking their money, they're taking their law system. So not just they're ruling the town, but the people are still Romans. In the end of the 6th century, Zadar will be hit by one very big earthquake, which in the combination with the Ostrogoths will be basically the end of the Roman civilization. In the 7th century, Croatians and the other Slavic tribes like Serbs, Slovenes, Macedonians, they're all coming from the east. And Croatians will set their kingdom here that will last for 400 years. It will end in one very funny way, because the last Croatian king didn't have a son, and he was married with the sister of a Hungarian king, so basically the Hungarian side of the family took over the country. If you look in the Croatian history books, it was said the union between Croatia and Hungary, but actually this was territory of the Hungary. Hungarians, in case of Croatia, will stay in Croatia until actually the beginning of the 16th century, but in the case of Zadar, something different will happen. They will change the rule of the town with Venetians. From the period of the 13th century till the end of the 14th, every 50 years Venetians will change the place with Hungarians every 50 years. And then in the beginning of the 1400s, the Venetians will decide to basically buy out the town. They saw that they cannot keep the town in a military way, so they had a lot of money, and basically gave the offer to Hungarians to buy out the town. They gave them an amount of the money which was equal to a yearly production of a salt in the area. Salt was extremely expensive at the time, so this is something like a yearly production of oil today. But they knew what they were buying. They bought this town because of strategic point. Zadar is in the middle of the Adriatic Sea, on the way from Venice to the Mediterranean. It's on the halfway. Venetians, after they bought out the town, they will be here for 400 years, and then it will be the end of the Venetian Republic, because Napoleon will occupy it. And also it will be the end of the Venetian Republic here in Zadar. Then in Zadar, Austria will come in, and staying here until the end of the First World War. And after them, another strange thing will happen. Italians will come here and have the town, but only the town. The rest of will be the part of Yugoslavia, but first Yugoslavia, not the Socialistic Republic that will be found after the 1,000 years. Croatia is basically independent country again. We joined the EU 2013, and next year will be a part of the Schengen regime, and Euro is coming, so it will be much easier for money. And you won't have this strange currency here, which they're really ripping off. Because if you wake up Croatian in the 3 a.m. in the morning, you know exactly what is 1 kuna, 1 euro, 7.534. Because everything which is important here, we were calculating in euros. Before were Deutschmarks, which are the most favorite currency on all Balkans. But when the Germany switched to euro, we switched as well. So if you're buying an apartment, it will be in euros. The Romans have always the same system how they're building the town. So I'm just sometimes joking that the Roman town is like a shopping center because all the shopping centers really much look the same. So when the Romans are building the town, they're doing they have two main streets. One is stretching from the east to the west. It's called Decumanus, and this is this main street. And one is going from the north to the south, we'll pass later on, and they're making the cross. From this cross, parallelly, in every direction, you're getting streets. In this system of a grid, you're going to get a city blocks. And that's the reason why how the Romans founded the city, how all these buildings were built today, they were all built on the Roman foundations. So this is the Venetian palace, but it was a Roman house before. And then you have this shape, what you're having here, the entrance for the carriage and the horses, and then again entrance for the pedestrians. And from that side to that side you had one big arc over there basically, and this was the Roman triumphal gate to enter to the town. And this, when Romans would never put the column to block their way to the town. So that's the reason. It was put here in the 18th century, brought from the Roman Forum and installed here. Just around 1,200 the main gate of the town. This is a little bit higher than the Roman something for a half meter. And this, and they just kept the same direction. If you see this, the dashed line over there, the city gate from the Roman times just came to here. And what, just have in mind, just look the size of this wall. So you'll have it also flanked from the sea. So the city wall in the 13th century is thick from this to this. Just have this in mind because this is important for the next story. And we're going over there to its thickness. Now we can show this. This is the typical wall from the 13th century. With these carnellations up, so the arches behind. And this wall was really supposed to protect the town in the 13th century. But one thing, when they were holding the town at that time, they're aware that the wall like this will not stand the defense for the town. And also the Ottomans are bringing cannons, they're bringing gunpowder, and if the cannonball would hit the wall like that, it is likely to take the walls. So what they have to do, they're thinking about how to redesign the system of the defense of the town. And they're building this fortress behind us, we're going to climb us, and they're building the system all around the town. Front of this wall. But in the 16th century, Venetians are putting the roof over this wall and creating this square which has the name of 5 wells. It's not a creative name because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the thing is that they had also the other side of the town, there's 3 wells there. So how many wells? Paranoid. And what they're doing, they were not really actually sure that this wall will only protect the town. So what they're doing, this part here, what you see on the map, and you can see it in front of you, it's called Fossa. It's one piece of a canal that's left. So what they did, from peninsula, they're making an island. So they dig a canal all around it here. Then they build another fortress. You can look at the size, basically like half of the town. And this is this fortress over there on your left side. And then they built another canal and another wall. Well, this paranoia helped them really because they have never been conquered. And every evangelist has his symbol in an animal, and the symbol of St. Mark is alive. He's having an open book, and the first letter, actually word in this book on the left side is Pat, which means when the lion has an open book, that's the building was built during the time of peace. In case when the book is closed, you can guess it was built during the time of peace. First thing on the course is of this province, and on the other side it's the Duke's Palace. Later on in the 18th century is the Major's Palace. But the church behind me, it's extremely important for not only Zadar but also for the region as well. Firstly, from the outside, this white part of the wall is one of the oldest walls regarding church walls in Dalmatia, not only in Zadar. This wall is from the 5th century, so that is something of 1,500 years old. And this is early Roman, actually early Christian basilica with these before us. This is the name of these two-sided windows. And they needed these big windows because there's a lot of fresks before inside, and the fresque and this wall painting need a lot of light. It's so-called this apotheosis of a light. The orange part of the church is more Baroque, and it was built much later on. So we first have church size of this way white, and then the church is spreading through the saints. Bodies of the saints, I mean relics, piece of a finger, hand, whatever, but the whole body of a saint was something which was extremely precious in the Middle Ages. And Venice and the Zadar were pretty much far from the Holy Land. They didn't have their own saints. So how to get one saint to your town? You can't go to the Holy Land and buy a saint. Only way is to steal it. And what happened? Venice in their later port. The port is blocked, and Venetians knew they would have to pass for some inspection. And when the Arabs are coming to their boat, they're hiding the dead body under the pork's meat. Muslims don't eat pork, so they are letting them go. They're smuggling the body out of the Alexandria, bringing it to Venice, and it's a national holiday. They go to, if we can tell about the value of the dead body over there, this is 5-star dead body. Because this is the fourth, this is one of the 4 evangelists. This is somebody who was touching Jesus. And in case of Zadar, we have Saint Simeon here. Saint Simeon was last prophet in the Bible, person who was holding baby Jesus in the temple and saying he will be Messiah. Also, he was saying to Virgin Mary, your heart will be broken, what will happen later on. And the same system was going with the Saint Sidon. They went somewhere to Holy Land, stole the body. Their destination was Venice, but the ship broke. And there was a storm, they had to park here. The custom asked them, we have a dead body on the boat, what's that? Oh, that is our brother, he died on the journey, we are taking him home, okay, no problem. Can we just bury him temporarily or in some monastery? No problem. But the problem was that the plague was in town and the crew got sick. And they were dying one by one, and the last one was confessing and saying, okay, I have to admit that this is not the body of our brother, this is the body of Saint Simeon. And he died, and the priest was like, we got the body, we didn't steal it, we just got it from that. And main square of Zadar was this was the main square from the Renaissance time. And from the left, we have one building which was built in the 16th century. It's called the City Guard. This was something like the office for a law and order. It's more simply a police station. On the other side, we have a city loggia, and where we have this lovely exhibition of spiders and scorpions. Something went wrong, very wrong last year. Usually they had really beautiful things inside, but now last year they put snakes, and this year scorpions, so something is wrong. They were setting taxes and the prices that people had to pay if they were selling any goods in the town. Later on it was a courthouse, so in case there would be any problems or a bad judgment or something, there would be riots here. So that's the reason why it's very convenient to have a police station very in case of riots, those people were coming here. And usually probably most of people just pass here and then here. For the art historians, this is very interesting church because of a couple of things. One thing is this window up here. And this window in German has one name, it's called Westfront, which means like Western style or Western side. When this church was built, these doors are not existing. Only this window. So how you enter the church, you enter the church with these doors, where this was, and the altar was here where those steps are. So This room had the function. And this is the case, this text was probably going like this. I, Giovanni, I was the mayor of Zadar at that town, I built this. When the other guy was coming after him, he was just erasing his name. Venice is republic. Venice don't like when somebody is just giving himself.
Doing this walking. Suppose we'd be back in about by 5 o'clock to catch her. It's been very informative.
Romans had one ritual basically. The priest would stand in this corner like this, and he had to stand before. Actually, when you will come here later, you will see there are two mountains. One is over there, one is over there. So that's how they were founding the spot on this east-west line. And then you had to stand like this. Everything was on that side, I mean, in front, on the left, was dedicated to political and religious purposes. On the right side was business, marketplace, the port was there, city blocks were behind, and the army was much, much closer to the wall because of the protection. Now we're going to go to the Roman Forum. And don't have a cement, so they cannot build this. But the other parts, those remains, these fragments, are of originally Roman. And you have all parts around here. Always private chapel, kind of a big for a private chapel. But he was inspired with this Basilica Palatina in Aachen, where it was the headquarters, the center. And consider this as a, you can say, a Facebook of the 14th century. Why Facebook? Because over here, everybody saw it, and there were no lights. Only. One little pool, this here, and they were slaughtering the sheep or a cow, depends what you think. When they slaughtered the animal, there was a lot of blood. So the blood will not stay here, and this place will be clean for from the next procession. They created one little channel. This channel was basically, you were swiping the blood, and the blood was going to this channel. Kind of a messy, but this monument over here. So these small circles are representing the planets, and the biggest circle is representing the sun. So please come. So here you have small planets like Mercury, Venus, Earth, and then the bigger one is Jupiter and Saturn. And this is representing the sun. So the scale, actually the big circle is the sun, so the scale between the planets and the sun is correct. I mean, with the scale side, but the interplanetary solar panels are absorbing the sunlight during the day, and the electricity they make